wondering if it was going to happen. And the truth is, I did have a scare. I couldn't get it working for a couple of minutes. I don't know what the problem is, but here we are. The downside of you guys missing the last couple of minutes is I feel like I had the most Parisian, surreal 5 minutes in Ile Saint-Louis history. We'll have a look away from Ile Saint-Louis before we begin while people get comfortable. While I was standing here fidgeting with my camera, 2 horses went by with police on them. 2 or 3 bicycles with red and white awning on them went by with crepe makers sitting on the bicycle seats. And then these cars arrived. Well, these cars were already here. Oh yeah, and I saw people canoeing and kayaking in the Seine River. So it's just all happening. We picked a perfect day for a walk. These cars, no idea. Let's have a look before we get started, and then I'll say hello properly. It's like someone from Mad Max, huh? All right. Just scanning through the comments. Good. Good. Lots of people there before me. Excellent. Here we go. Okay, so this is the walk that we didn't do yesterday. I'll tell you exactly what we're going to do. Having said that, anything could happen once again. But the plan is to start here at St. Regis, Saint-Régy. Good cafe, especially for breakfast. Not for coffee. Then we're going to go all the way down the street, turn left, come back along the water. It'll take about an hour. And this is the Ile Saint-Louis. Also, one thing I haven't talked about so far about the Ile Saint-Louis that I really like, gives you good views of other parts of the city. So Ile de la Cité there, Notre Dame behind the scaffolding, looks exactly the same. And to the left bank and right bank as well. We'll have a little look inside this place. Very charming. So here we go, the walk. It was Sunday morning now rather than yesterday, Saturday morning. Same research doesn't necessarily apply. I think I can assume more things will be closed, but that's all right. It's very quiet. Hopefully Mr. Motorbike gets away quickly. And we can have a look. Sometimes it's the small details, like this old awning. I don't know the story of it. Maybe an old butcher's or something like that, with a modern shop on the inside. And here, definitely closed today, but it doesn't matter. Take notes, because no one else is here with me. This is, I started to talk about it yesterday. An excellent place to get a croissant. I said yesterday, I think I stand... Oh, I lost you guys for a second. I asked him what it actually means, MOF. And he said you could close your eyes when you're in there, order anything, and it will be good. And so I had some macarons as well, really nice. The guy was, there's a little seating area in there. So if you go in there and you're clearly interested or clearly going to buy something more than just one, sit down and talk you through some stuff. They're really friendly in there. So yeah, I recommend that bakery that we started at rather than that one. Now, do I jinx it and grab a coffee? I think I should. Or maybe not. But this is the coffee shop that I talked about, Noir. Not sure what it looks like inside. One of these windows, maybe. Hard to show, especially if I'm not a customer. You guys get the gist. Okay, Corinne says I'm cutting in and out. I'm gonna check if that's something I can do about that. Let's have a look. Here you go. Turn the Wi-Fi off. Maybe to pick up the Wi-Fi from a nearby cafe or something. Britta has been at the Noir with Charlotte Pleasance, talking about doing that. That's talking about doing the Islands tour, isn't it? You've done the Islands tour, Britta. I wonder if we'll pass the same things. Never noticed this before. What a door handle. Oh yeah. I tried to memorize both the codes to get into this door. The big door that I talked about on the podcast. So let's see what happens up here. Can I remember 10 digits? And for you guys, so if you're not in the Facebook group, the members Facebook group, I did like a 3 or 4 minute live video yesterday just trying to get it working. And I got into the cafe, and then to pay I needed to use my Apple wallet, which is on the phone, and that's why the video ended. Yesterday just didn't work for any reason. And then while I was ordering the coffee, this guy comes up to me, and I think there are two ways to come up and say hello on the street, and he went for the sort of more direct, dare I say, impolite way. And he just came up to me and he goes, "You're the guy off." He goes, "I've seen your videos," just something like that. And I said, "Oh, great." And he goes, as if I'm a Google search engine or something, he goes, "Good cafe on the Latin Quarter." I was like, "Well, you want me to recommend one?" "Good cafe on the Latin Quarter." And I thought it was a bit, it lacked a bit of elegance. So I told him a good place to go eat, but I thought it could have been at least a, "Hey, would you mind telling me?" Okay, good. So here's as far as I'm concerned, the best door on the island, maybe the best door in the country. Here's what I tried to describe on the podcast. Let's do it. It's nice and slow, and then we'll try and go in. Intricate details, seashells there. Bigger seashells upwards. There's 2 dragons coming up. These are the smaller dragons. And then I said it on the podcast about these ones being these are like the size of fully grown Dalmatians here. With big horns on their head. One of these mascarons in the middle on another seashell, I think. The seashells are kind of a theme on the inside. And then the semi-gilded balcony for whoever is fortunate enough to live up there. There's a few people around. And they're gone. We did it. Okay. I'll let the door shut behind me. Now I'm gonna be quiet. First code remembered. Second code. No.
La porte est ouverte.
Sunday morning, don't want to wake everybody up. So I came walking around here yesterday with Augusta. So she was just taking lots of lovely pictures while I was just walking around with my hands in my pockets. You probably can't hear me because I'm whispering, Adrienne, because I don't want to wake people up early for a Sunday. And this is where that sundial. I'm not sure. Someone put I didn't research this because I didn't know if I'd get in, but someone said that's 13th century. I don't know if I believe it. Maybe it's built in a 13th century style, but who knows? Maybe someone can research it for me. And yeah, these are just all apartments, but it does seem pretty old. Like these like ground floor art galleries, I guess they are, in this massive courtyard. When I was researching the Ile Saint-Louis for the episode, it said that it was one of the first parts of Paris where they built beautiful facades facing out instead of in. So maybe, like nowadays it's quite common to have the beautiful facades facing the street and pretty plain interiors. But it was Ile Saint Louis that changed it, apparently. And it's, maybe this is one of the older ones. It's kind of nice on the inside. But this has got to be one of, there's so many people that live here too, because it's like 4 apartment buildings. And I don't know what Fugu is, but it looks like a gallery, an art gallery. But yeah, this is several different buildings combined. And I went to, interviewed Ronnie up here a couple seasons back. He lived up there somewhere. Would there have been stables? Maybe, yeah, probably. I'd say so. I showed that because I know sometimes people can't figure out how to get out of these kind of buildings. Look at that for a massive key lock. Door handle doesn't slam. All right, now I can stop whispering. Gosh, it's quiet around here. So in case you tuned in late, as I was cycling down here, I went past the Pont de Sully and I had to stop because people were sailing and kayaking in the Seine. And it's no doubt getting ready for the Olympics. Not Olympic kayaking, but, you know, just testing the waters quite literally. You know, fancy a painting? No? Okay. Onwards we go. This is so Jay was gonna be for Jeu de Paume for Monday, tomorrow's episode. Jeu de Paume, which is like an old ancient form of tennis. Here you go, they're playing it here. And I've been out to the one court that's left in Paris, and the guy that runs it was really nice. And then he just had a baby, his wife just had a baby, and he's sort of gone radio silent. So I was meant to be interviewing, I've been out there, I had a little hit around. It's a cool story. It's like this ancient form of tennis. And that hotel that we just went by used to be a tennis court as well. If you go in there and ask nicely, not during breakfast time, they'll show you it, but it doesn't look anything like a tennis court anymore. So it's not really worth going in there, but the hotel's still got the name. And there's a museum just by the conciergerie called the Jeu de Paume. So there's traces of it around. Jeu de Paume. But no, Jay will be for something else. You guys will figure out in 24 hours. So will I. Not just kidding. I've recorded it. So if you've been around for a while, you probably heard me talk about the Île aux Vaches. Île aux Vaches is... So I went quite deeper into researching the Île aux Vaches the other day. And as I understand it, so firstly, there used to be an island just down there that had cows on it, Cow Island. But I thought it was just a natural island. What actually seems to have happened is they made it 2 islands. They dug a canal, and then 400 years ago, they filled it back up again. So if I'm correct, Ile Saint Louis, this was always 1 island. They didn't just create 2. But this road coming up behind this unusual church with unusual clock face, that is where the canal used to be, and where the Île aux Vaches began. And it seems kind of crazy. It doesn't seem... Like I remember reading about it, seeing on a map, it would have been such a small island. But if you compare it to just a field out in the middle of nowhere somewhere, it probably was pretty big for cows. They did hunting and everything down there. It would have just been pastures. Gosh, it's so quiet. Can you pause in front of number 32 for a second? Okay. Yep. Oh, I did accidentally. Look at that. Petal Pansy. Petal wants me to stop in front of 32. It is to hire. So you can hire this gallery, turn into whatever you want. We'll get a closer look at that line. I'm guessing Petal. I'm guessing you stayed here. Let's have a look. On what floor were you on? We'll zoom in. or your old house? Top, first floor, American first floor, or French first floor? We'll do both. If you're staying in Paris, that's the first floor. And I assume you weren't staying down here. But there you go. What was that? Was that the bathroom? You had, was it Australian first floor? Oh yeah, of course there's Australians watching. Is everyone Australian here? Let's have a look at this lion. Pedal says no next door. What do you mean no next door? What does that mean, no next door? Oh here. Haha, literally. Is that what you mean? Lynn is in Hawaii. Vera's watching from Loire Valley. Janet's watching in Chicago. Amazing, we still get people from all over. Rod even throws in the Australian flag. Ah, okay, Pedal, I'm with you. The little window is part of next door. Gosh, they snuck your window away. So, let's have a look. This is a map that does not seem to be to scale. But that's the island we're walking on, and we're walking down the main street, the little island. And there's the Ile de Cité, the other island with Notre Dame. Sarah Graham's in France for 4 more days. Hello, Sarah. Nolene's watching from Perth. Sharon's in California. Sandra's in Melbourne. Well, look at that. Lynn says he's still in touch with Karen Olsen. So, Karen Olsen, Paris in 4 months, used to live on this island. I did a walk show with her an ever so long time ago. And then she moved to Rome. So I'm not really in touch, but I went to Rome about a year ago and we caught up with her at coffee. She gave us a little mini walking tour as well. So I guess I'm still in touch with her. This is the street that was once a canal, as I understand. We're talking about history from 400 years ago, and we're talking about what was once an old field. So hard to say for sure, but I'm pretty sure this street, if not this street, definitely that big street, was a canal. And so the field probably started here. We're in Cow Island now. So you can see there's plenty of room for cows to be running around if there weren't all these houses here. We got 7th arrondissement, we've got Toulouse, what a group. Now this is, so that main street we just walked down turns into residential. In fact, the island's pretty much residential. Residents on both sides. It's just that big street we walked down in the cross section where Ile Vache is, where things are happening. It's funny, like I think I was standing about here when I said it on the podcast. But like I just mentioned Rome again now. I remember when I went to Rome and how little I knew. Like, I'm not a mad Rome fan like I am for Paris, or like some of you guys are for Paris. So I don't live and breathe it, but I like it. I like the idea of it. And when I went there, I was excited to explore the river a bit and see what was on the islands. But I just had no idea where to begin, which ones were worth it or whatever. And so it made me realize that surely a lot of people have no idea what these islands are. And then when I met someone who said, do I need tickets to come here? Like it was some kind of Disneyland, it made me think, okay, let's do a deeper dive into this island at the same time giving a bit of like basic information for everybody, because it should be enjoyed, I think. I'm sure most of you guys have all walked here before and know exactly what's going on. But eerily quiet, almost. So when I was with Augusta yesterday doing this walk while she was taking pictures, we went down through the park, down that little secret gate, and I'll do it now quickly, but when we went down, it was a shame, but maybe it's because it was Friday night, the night before. That must be what it was, but it stunk of Parisians running down there, and tourists, I guess. to use it as a toilet to pee, and it stunk. And I was like, I feel bad for recommending this. Anyone who goes down there on a morning walk won't enjoy it. But so there's your warning. If you're going to do the same, make sure you take a deep breath before you walk down those stairs, or don't visit on a Saturday or Sunday morning. This place in, I guess it's still in the Marais there. Oops. Has anyone been up there? It looks to me like a restaurant. I've never been. And we're going to go down here next. But first we'll pop over here. And that's the distant 13th over there. With the weird buildings. Ruth in the UK, hello. What's that, like 6 countries we got going now? Will the car stop for me? Nope. The opposite, he looked down. Be careful crossing the roads, guys. So, Square Barry. Pronounced Barry. It's a really nice park. I shared a picture of it snowing here. So, oh, Jim and Cindy in Portugal. Jim and Cindy, hello. There's a connection. What is the connection? I didn't prepare this bit, but I knew it. I think it's the guy that did that statue did the same statues out the front of the Musée d'Orsay. Does that sound about right? Ooh, I don't know. I didn't see a sign either. Someone will know. Now, I talked about it on a bunch of episodes, like My Secret to Paris. And then this is what a lot of people know about this park, and a lot of people know you can walk down there and get a look, but I think a lot of people miss this little gate. Let's have a little look. And I'll report on the lucky thing for you guys around the world is you don't have to smell this, but so far so good. But you can see this is a perfect little hideaway if you're having drinks along the Seine. If you want to relieve yourself, unfortunately. Honestly, today it's fine. Yesterday was revolting. But look, the Arab Institute. There you go. Ruth is my mum. She revealed it. I let her do it in case she wanted to guard her privacy. Arab Institute over there. You can see at the top there are like parasols. 10 of them, maybe, up along the top. That's where you can go for a free view of everything, especially the Notre Dame and the Ile Saint-Louis. But it's also a restaurant. I never eaten up there, but don't be intimidated. You just go up and you have a look at the view. It's a viewing platform. Bonjour. 2 people down here. I'm so glad you said that, Ruth. I was laughing silently. What did Ruth say? It didn't smell too bad on Wednesday afternoon, says Kim Dixon. Kim, you already been down here? This is old news for you, huh? I've got to up my game a little bit. Did you know, Kim? Did you know about the secret door behind these trees? Kim, do you know what happens if you press the button? Should I do it? First, I'll wait to see if Kim knows. If I press the... So I just do it to open the door. I'm just kidding, Kim. I'm kidding, everybody. I'm kidding. There's no door. I bet people get excited. I'm just being silly. So obviously people come down here, but I think a lot of people miss it. And I remember when I first came to Paris with Eddie, my brother, finding Mary. You guys maybe know a little bit of that story. I remember getting on one of the boats, and you know the 10 euro boats that go around the city, and it went around this point. So I think people, maybe if you've been on a boat, they probably turn around on this point, and there was a man wearing very skimpy underwear, maybe a 60-70-year-old man just laying here sunbathing, and Eddie and I thought it was a riot. We thought it was so funny. He's just bronzing his buttocks in the Parisian summer. The other thing is, if you go not all the way to the bridge in the distance, and I mean the first bridge, the smaller bridge, or is it just one bridge? Yeah, the first bridge. So the one with the arch is further away. I'm talking about the closest bridge. You turn left, that's where the Bassin de l'Arsenal is, where I showed you the walk that you can go through to get to the Canal Saint-Martin, but also where that boat, the Corto, is moored. The same boat that I went out on a ride fairly recently. Now, oh yeah, I forgot about them sailing. They're still sailing. We'll go up and have a proper look. And the police there, but we're gonna go all the way to those stairs in the distance on the left. And the reason I'm not gonna keep walking is, this is a guy, I'll respect his privacy, but also, look at the little fish. Can you guys see the fish? I bet there's a big catfish here somewhere. But also there's a few people have put tents up under those trees, and I'll let them have their sleep in. They might need it. Some prime real estate for some of the city's homeless population. But a lovely walk nonetheless. Look at this. Look at this. I bet, gosh, I bet Monet or Manet or someone could have a field day right here. I wonder if they did. I wonder if any of them painted down here. This bridge, Pont de Sully, or Sully, S-U-L-L-Y, leading over to the Arab Institute. So if you're gonna go spend an hour walking on either side of the way like I am in the process of doing, I'd recommend you start with an overview or finish with an overview up there and just get the lay of the land. Yeah, I can smell the vision's all right today. I think it rained. Maybe it's that. But there's my huge disclaimer. Just get through that bit first. I don't know if it cut out. I said if you're not in the mood for going down the steps, you can go to that fence post there. Get the same view and have your Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet moment by yourself. I might check if the internet connected. No. Oh, we're still here then. Lovely little park too. We bring our son here sometimes for a little run around. It's nice. Now we're gonna do what I think a lot of people perhaps miss. Well, I know a lot of people miss it because I walked here with Augusta yesterday, and she's been living here for a couple of years and she'd never gone down there. So if she'd never gone down there, I can assume some of you guys haven't either. So I'll show you how to get down there and what to do. But first, let's look at a flood marker from the 1910 floods. Give you an idea of how high it was. You see up on the wall there, 1910? It's under this bridge, right under the bridge. Cross over, look at the sailors, and then down. So there's the spot that I've seen some people, or I've seen pictures of some people down here swimming, and they're in this big bid to make the Seine swimmable, and I know they're having a few hiccups with it. It can't be a quick fix. As I understand, further along the river, so, you know, in towards Burgundy, maybe some sewage is running into the river or something, and it's not a... This guy's got the right idea. That guy. Bring a book, sit down with your legs dangling over the Seine. Okay, so here's where you want to come. Quai, I guess d'Anjou, who cares? Okay, I care. D'Anjou, I would guess. A-N-J-O-U. Here we go. swim in the Seine. Ick. Well, they want the triathlon, so it's not like for the 50 meters or whatever. It's for the triathlon or the biathlon or whatever, and they want to swim around near the Eiffel Tower, the athletes. And they've been doing some test runs on it. And one of the architects for the Olympics, weirdly, one of the architects is a fan of the Eiffel Tower and reached out to give me some inside words. And I tried to convince him to come on the podcast. So let's see what happens there. But it's a big job, a lot to go, a lot to do. Talking about the floods, there were floods here in back to back, I think 2016 and 17 maybe, or 2021 as well. There's a flood every year, but sometimes I've been here and the water's been rushing around this tree, and that's got to be like 3 meters, 10 feet down to the water level. So it's nothing compared to 1910 when it was lapping up around there, but pretty considerable. So who would do it? Who would dare go kayaking knowing you might just fall in the big drink? Hands up. Put a like. As it stands, 8 out of you would do it. I would do it. I would do it right now if they'd let me. Bring you guys on camera. It'd be hard to paddle. Now it's a little bit windy around here. I'll say this now before we turn the corner. It's quite windy around this corner, right? And if it's so windy that the head-on wind makes it unbearable to listen because of the microphone, I don't know, maybe it will, maybe it won't, mute me and put on some nice French music for the next 10 minutes and just dream that you're walking here with me all by yourself. Perfect Paris moment for me, but maybe not with the wind. Gosh, I want to take a picture. Someone please take a screenshot. And then send me a message or post it in the group. Hey, ça va? Mais comment ça marche? C'est juste vous avez réservé un... Ah oui? Et il coûte cher?
C'est gratuit.
Oh wow!
Dernier jour aujourd'hui.
C'est que le week-end ou...
Jusqu'au dimanche, aujourd'hui c'est la dernière.
Ok.
Et jusqu'à midi.
Profitez bien. Oops. I didn't want to film her while I was talking to her. Who knows what she said? I didn't understand a word. Nah, I'm just kidding. She said it's free to do. You just have to put your name down. I could be in the water, guys. Get the ride. This is kind of fun. Maybe this is what I should do this afternoon. Sailing as well. Bonjour. Caves for kayak, Cindy. What a great idea. Gabrielle says, are you staying for the Olympics or leaving town? Don't know. Isn't it a little worrying dangling off the banks into the Seine? If it was London, you'd be pushed into the Thames. I thought about that the other day. No one seems to push anyone in here. Maybe that says something about Londoners. There's people on speedboats around to make sure that no one gets swept up in the dangerous current and blown all the way out to Honfleur or Le Havre or whatever it is. Both? No, it's Le Havre. Le Havre is the end of the Seine. Screenshots sent to the group. Thanks, Catherine. It really is lovely. Oh, look at that with the sun against them. Another screenshot. I wonder if I can do screenshots. There's too much of a risk that I turn off the camera. We won't worry about it. I wonder if they'll let me if I might go over there after this video, put my name down, see if they'll let me take my camera with me. You gotta imagine that. You gotta imagine the list is long of people that want to be there right now. Although I see they've got some kayaks just sitting there. Okay, well that's what we're doing after this. I'll smuggle my iPhone in with me so I can take some pictures, because maybe they don't want you bringing stuff out. If the phone falls in, it had a good life. So yeah, Augusta was saying yesterday she maybe has popped down here once, but she didn't realize you can walk so far around. It's true. We've walked, you know, half the island now, and it goes all the way around. Continue. But obviously there's exit points all over the place. I think the woman I was talking to said that today was the last day, maybe. So if it happens now. There's that wind. Out of curiosity, does the wind ruin the audio for you guys? Or does it sound just about normal? I saw a sign over near the Pont Neuf that said that they'd be filming yesterday. So they said the bridge would be closed from 4 o'clock in the morning for a couple of hours. And sometimes on those sort of A4 pages that are typed up, it says what they're going to film exactly. And it said two, the word in French was like malfrats, like baddies, like crooks. 2 crooks run out from the Institut de France and leap off the Pont Neuf into the waters. Or yeah, leap off the Pont Neuf into the water below while getting chased by police. And then I was out here yesterday morning filming, or trying to film, and I saw two boats go past at high speed, one with really big expensive camera gear on it. So I wonder what they're filming, but I'll tell you, it doesn't have a small budget. So if you find yourself watching a movie set in France and someone jumps off the Pont Neuf, I was nearby. And then let me know so I can watch it too. What are the rings on the wall for? Gosh, I can't remember, but I assume it's to do with when the boats would moor up. It has to be when the boats would moor up next to it. And sometimes along the Seine, less so on the islands, but along the banks on the left side, you can see where they had old doors going into storage container or whatever, because you can imagine a lot of the boats were carrying all sorts of things. Everything from produce to live produce to stones to build things. And so, yeah, I guess they jumped down and someone tied it up here. So, I wouldn't bet my life that's the correct answer, but I'm pretty sure. Those rings were mostly used when the river flooded to maybe, what's it, like to tie boats away that were gonna flood away down the river. That makes sense. Yeah, I guess that would make sense in that maybe if you're going to tie it around like a tree stump or whatever you usually tie it around, if you can't reach it because the water's come too high. I'll give you that one, Vero. Look how clear, the water's quite clear. Here come the firefighters or the police on a high-speed boat I don't know if I talked about this on the show before, but I've seen once just like this, just someone zooming along, the firefighters zooming along like that, and then one of them just jumped out, and another one jumped out, and they started fighting in the water. I was like, what is going on? And one was struggling to get away, and the other was struggling to rein him in. And then the crowd was gathering, and they got to the side. They pulled themselves out of the water, and they shook hands, and they got back in the boat. And it was nothing more than practicing for when they have to catch crooks. But it was very dramatic to see them jumping out of the high-speed boat into the Seine waters. Someone said, where was the boat that my dad worked on? That was down near the Eiffel Tower. And now we've made it to the other edge of the island. We've been to both points, and what did it take? 20 minutes to get from the park to here? So speaking of floods, I was here with Vero. I can't remember how bad it was when we were standing here, Vero, but the water at some points has reached higher than this bin. And that's crazy. Like, maybe you think that's not so wild. That bin is only hip height, but down from I'll go and have a proper look at it. It had to come that high first. Frightening. I love when you heard me talk about it a few weeks ago, but I love when the Seine floods, because usually the Seine is such a passive background part of Paris. The background or the framing of a nice photo, and it's so rare that people come to look at it and to see what it's doing. You know, mostly you take a picture like this, you're taking a picture of the buildings with the Seine, but this time everyone was focused on the Seine. Okay. Now I'm going to go up these steps on the left, but you could continue around the edge and about halfway down the other side of the island on the south side. So now we're walking towards the left bank. But I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to go back up. I'm going to grab a cup of coffee, and I'm going to go and try and get a kayak. And I'll report back immediately, because this sounds like an adventure too good to pass up on. But for context, once we get to the top here, we'll see the St. Regis Cafe again. Janet McDonald's wonders, can you see the deportation memorial on Ile de la Cité from here? I think it's hard to see because it's mostly underground, but I'll show you. And for those who don't know what Janet's talking about, it's yeah, you can't really see, you can see where it is. It's there. You can't see it, you can't even see the entry to it, but you need to go into this little park, walk along, and then you go down, and the idea is it's meant to make you feel uncomfortable. It's a narrow passage going down underground, and then there's it's a memorial to the deportation of Jewish people in the Second World War. One of several memorials or museums for Jewish people, Jewish art. There's a lot in the city. Could make a good episode one day. Let's finish with a look at Notre Dame, of course. Even though technically we're out of the boundary of the Ile Saint-Louis as we walk over here. So, will this be finished in time for the Olympics? Of course it won't be finished, but it took 200 years to build it in the first place. I mean, it'd probably take a year just to remove all that scaffolding. The local mayor of the 4th arrondissement, so not from that town hall, but just over there, has agreed to take me inside Notre Dame. But the difference between a mayor telling you that he'll do something and a mayor doing something can be light years of difference. So don't get your hopes up, and I'm trying not to, but I think it would be so awesome to go in there with Monsieur le Maire of the 4e arrondissement. Now, here's where I leave you guys. Back where we started, the Saint-Régy, in front of the Mad Max car. Just off the Pont Saint-Louis that leads into the wonderful Ile Saint-Louis. Some Parisian scenes to make you feel like you're here too. Thank you for joining me on the walk. I think I'll go to the Peloton and then down to the kayaks, and I'll let you know how it goes. Thanks for being here. Thanks for supporting this work, and thanks for your patience after I messed the first attempt up, but we got it in two. Hope you enjoyed the walk. Merci and au revoir.